Alright, everyone. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. So welcome back to my channel. It's Professor Zero E005 here with I would say a recap. I think this will be a very short video. So this will be technically a short recap of what's happened on Sunday. So I will first apologize for uploading the video this late in the night. Because I have like a lot of things to take care of. And not to mention I'm going back to KL on like Wednesday, so there's like a lot of things that I have to do packing and whatnot. But I just have to do like some sort of like a quick short recap for the Bushiroad presentation stream, which is like focusing on technically the Vanguard itself. I mean, for the time being, I would say that for the time being, let's get straight into some of the most important parts of the stream itself. It's nothing much, but I think it's worth to give a little bit of a little bit of analysis and like my honest opinions on some things. So I think that's good. Alright, so anyways, let's go look at the bingo card that I've made on the last video, technically outlining my my expectations and my justifications for why I want to put the bingo like that. I was so close to having a bingo if I hadn't I could have just put if I had just put this part, the encounter and the banlist for B, which we will get straight into. I could have just gotten a bingo, but yeah, so far I mean, like, I think it's a little bit too short, I would say, of a stream per se. It's nothing really much, nothing huge. So they would say that the next Bushiroad announcement, like the stream will be also on December 13th, which will also get another wave of restrictions as well. So we have 3 months time, so which is what they're technically doing. So because I think they usually will take every 3 months for banlists, banlist and new products. So we can technically have a look at what's what to expect for the next in the next time to come. So yes, right. So before that, I would like to say that if you do enjoy my content right here in this channel, please hit the like and subscribe and stay tuned for more. So for those of you who are in Malaysia and especially in KL, Bushiroad Expo will be in. Quick reminder that Bushiroad Expo will be in KLCC, which will be on the 29th to the 1st of 29th September to the 1st of October, and I think so 1st of October, and not to mention it's like WGP Season 3, but I think it's already full at this capacity at this point. So maybe if you can interested to join for some of the side tournaments, I implore you to go there. But yes, that's just a little bit of just a little bit of an encouragement for maybe for some players who are not or who are really interested to go. So yeah, that's about it. Alright, so let's get straight into the news first. Not news per se, but the bingo card. Okay, so there's technically new TD which we announced on next year January, which we'll get straight into that. No banlist for V. I kind of expected that because V format is technically not that popular anymore in Japan, so that's it. Free space, self-explanatory, don't have to explain on that. New encounter, but it's not the way that a lot of people have thought, because we kind of expected BT14 announcement or BT15 or something along those lines, like the counter cards. Unfortunately, we didn't get super detailed into they did announce the dates for BT14, BT15. So whether or not I want to count it as a sneak peek, I would say definitely I would say that's a hard no. Per se, arguably new merch. I think I mean I am doing this bingo card in the context of Vanguard, right? So if you want to count Y shots new as technically new merch or new products or new SDs, or some starter sets or booster sets, I don't think that's I don't think I want to count that in, because I'm arguing, I'm kind of doing this bingo card in the context of Vanguard, so technically that doesn't count. No banlist for premium, so which is kind of obvious, so it's not also not a really huge thing, but for now they see that as there's nothing much to banned or not think to be unbanned for the time being. And then there's a ban list for these. So I think all of you, and then like most of us who is already like very familiar kind of call up, we technically have a ban list for these, and it's something this is really funny, and it's something that is I expected it and something I did not expect at the same time. Now earlier before this stream, I have expressed the fact that I think Gandiva and Melista might not get hit in you know, and also like there are some cards who got unrestricted. Lo and behold, if you look at the next picture right here, we actually got the new ban list right here with me. So this is the new fighters rules, which will be on effect by hold on, which will be by effect on the 29th of this month. So it will be at the same time when WGP Malaysia Season 3 will be in effect. So yes, it is just right in time for the new ban list to be in there, right? So for premium, nothing changed. For B, nothing changed, as I kind of like expected. But for D, which is like a huge amount of like I would say like changes, I would say. First off, let's talk about the Gandiva one, right? So we you know, Stiguna in the Great Gandiva Grade 3, so that's the common Grade 3. It got restricted into 1, so it's kind of like I would say nice in a sense that because like Gandiva is technically a very fast deck thanks to Stiguna, so you can already reach, you know, if you have like the key pieces at the right time, you can technically reach 5 or more you know, cards in your buying zone by the time you are in, yeah, by the time you're on your first Grade 3, right? So your first Grade 3 turn will be like technically we'll be reaching like 23k in Gandiva. We'll be swinging for a double pre, which is kind of like so fast. And late game onwards, like, as the game gets progresses, more and more Gandiva is gonna get buffed more and more. So I would say that this restriction might, you know, kind of slow down Gandiva, hopefully. And whether or not it's like has a huge impact, maybe some have like argued, or like say like I've discussed with some of the people that say that like it doesn't really do much to to slow down Gandiva. Others says that you know, we can technically prop in some other alternatives. You know, with the Grade 2 one that technically does the same thing for like you know, what Stiguna does, but with like a Counter Blast one. You know, the Grade 2 Scarlet Flame guy. I don't remember the name, but it's technically do the same thing. You know, just tank the damage early and just do the same thing, right? I'm not sure if that's the case. If you will be like reaching the same speed as like original Gandiva does without the restriction. But people have been playtesting it, and they say that like it's some of them you know, told me that you know, it's not much different. Others says that it kind of changes a lot of things. So we have to wait and see whether or not if this restriction is technically you know, makes sense, but I feel like I'm kind of like happy with the restriction. I don't know, because personally I have a personal vendetta, I have a personal grudge against Gandiva, because it's like that one deck that I can never beat. You know, not even, I mean, there's like 1 or 2 games that I beat with Gandiva, you know, but then again, most of the time I find myself losing against Gandiva because the power scaling is just way too high, and the crit is just very pressure, because you know, it's technically very standard feeling. If you're fighting against Gandiva players, you get the feeling, right? The second one was technically the Elivira versus Elivira and the, what's the name of this Grade 2? And the Lyrical Right Recyclers, the one that you discard from your hand during your right phase, then Soul Blast 1 and then bot deck and draw 1. Technically got choice restriction, particularly this would be in the Willy Star deck. So there is also like a list of like a justification. So Bushiroad, on the other day of the stream itself, I think it was on Twitter, that they kind of like post a PDF or like a statement as to explain why the restrictions is like you know, it works this way, especially when it comes to like the unbanning, which we'll get straight into that later on. So I feel like this release restriction is kind of like expected, to be fair, because like your hand size doesn't really decrease a lot because of that. It's like very consistent hand size, thanks you know, for Wilista, and then you're able to, you know, help Wilista to gain her pieces at the right time. So I'm not a huge I would say I'm not a huge Realista, guy that I mean like as in like playing the deck per se. But people who are very like super good with Realista, those people who play the deck actually says that like you can actually like draw a lot, which is it makes sense. It's technically what Realista does. The way Realista does with the gimmick, especially when you combine two gems into one, which is kind of nice. So yes, so that's where the draw power comes in for Vista, and it's kind of like that kind of what do you call that, impenetrable defense for Vista. So that's why it's really easy for Vista to cut high powers, and probably in some cases that restricts. So that's about it. After that, for the unbanned part, this one was kind of like within my realm of expectations. Because Chronojet, in the case of Chronojet, Juji and Swirler got unrestricted, which is kind of nice. Which means that I can already technically tag in Swirler in my Chronojet. So technically, right now it's already all fixed and done. It's already like edited and whatnot. So that's that. So I can probably just bring this into the tournaments next time, and hopefully I don't going on a losing streak, because honestly, recent tournaments right now I've been not using Chronojet, and I feel like because I don't know, I think Chronojet is kind of like dropping, but hopefully this might help Chronojet to top a little bit, maybe not much, but just a little bit. So I'm kind of like very happy with the unrestriction. So yeah, kind of excited to test this out by the time I get back to KL. Okay, after that we have the Eva and Combine Russia and unrestriction, so which is kind of nice because they say that the justification for Bushiroad to for the unrestrictions, especially for Solar GG and Eva Combine Russia, was that they say that the usage rates of the these two cards have not been too. I mean, like for Chronojet, Eva has been not been topping so lately, a lot lately. So maybe and the usage rate of that is like not too high, so that's why they say that it's not very. I think it's like say that it's the best moment for them to get unrestricted and see where it goes in the near future. Hopefully, Dandiva and Vista might drop, then you see like a proper return, not exponentially, okay, not like drastically, but a small increase of like topping for like Eva and Chronojet, because honestly these two decks have not been topping really much lately, especially in Japan, as well as like Malaysia, Philippines, and Singapore. I might be wrong, but in Malaysia the scene is like very different right now, because I don't see a lot of people playing Chronojet, and most people are playing like Realista, Chronojet, Zolgar, etc. Right? Most of the very big meta decks are named out there. So Chronojet and Eva technically is, I mean, it's not to say that they are very bad decks. It's just that they're not topping as much as usual because of the unrestrictions. But yeah, you can technically see the hopefully the return of these two decks in the limelight of the meta again, which I'm kind of like excited. For Eva, personally, I think Eva, I feel like even if Eva got unrestricted with Combine Russia, I think you don't really have much spaces for like putting in Russia, because at this point, there's like a lot of like good alternatives to put in Eva, like Happy Purple Zone, and some of the Blitz orders that some people might play. Or you have to also take in like Red Eva as well. So space issue is a thing, and then Counter Blast is also an issue for Eva. But then again, people can resort to playing like Eva Rush if that was supposed to be the case. And yes, that's about it. That's what the banlist is, and that's what your Bushiroad's justification was for the deck. Now this is very interesting. When I say encounter cards, but my initial reaction was like, oh my god, I was just kidding, right? Oh no, apparently Bushiroad's not kidding anymore, right? So I'm just gonna move this image a little bit around. So what you're seeing right here, right now, is that you're looking at technically looking at the encounter cards back in Lyrical, which is Labrador, Carrot, and Rate. These are OG Bermuda cards, to be exact, for like back then during the limit break era. If some of you veteran players who are very familiar with Bermuda Triangle, apparently now they are back and encounter And also we have a very huge surprise for the another encounter in set 4, right? So Labrador and the Prism Gang will be in Lyrical set 4, as well as the new Lyrical will be in this next set as well. But yeah, which we'll get straight into that. So you can see Labrador and Rayke, and then you have kept in all of their beauty and in all their glory. And now we have we have, technically speaking, right here, right now, we have Pacifica. Now Pacifica is something I did not expect. It's a encounter card that I kind of like say that I already expected, but I didn't expect them to be releasing it this fast, right? I was thinking maybe they could do it around like set 5, because there's no way that they can fit like a lot of Fortiel, Herminia, and 3 other new right lines into this deck, right? In this particular set. And I thought it was originally it's gonna be like so full, but lo and behold, we have Pacifica, Top Idol Pacifica, back with her new OG art. I wouldn't say not the OG art per se, but this art is absolute bangers, right? It's so beautiful as compared as the last time. I don't remember who's the artist, but I can recognize this artwork from the rest of the different cards. It's so amazing, it's so beautiful. I am not a Pacifica player, but this really kind of attracted me to play Pacifica, although I'm not go there. I have sworn to myself to never touch a lyrical deck in my entire life, right? I would never play a lyrical deck in my entire life because it's expensive AF, right? So I will not go that route. So I am not playing Pacifica, I am not playing Prisms, but for them to return to D is an absolute surprise. And Chef's Kiss, the art is nice, and I hope the skills are also nice as well. So okay, so that's that for the time being. Now for the time, and back to the product, the product news. For this time round, we have the DPT 13, which will be on this Friday. So 10 Vinci Show, DPT 13, Flag of the Chakravarti, and then we have Lyrical Monasteries at Volume 4 on October 13th, and then we have Shiranui and Luwak Strike Deck on November, okay, and then the Triple Drive Booster, excuse me, okay, I had a burp there, excuse me, and then we have the Triple Drive Booster on December 8th. Now, this one will be, I want to highlight on the ones on the left, on the right side. So we technically have a new deck. They say that new deck on it, whether or not it's more than one, or less than more than one, or just only one, is not to be confirmed, but they say that there will be a new deck product which will be coming in by January, right? So, and this raises a lot of speculation whether or not this will be an actual Storyteller Strike deck set, or technically speaking, we can have another wave of how you call that, starter deck sets, right? Start deck sets for in the same case of Ground Grace, Harmony, and Orphis. But yet that is yet to be confirmed. I have a huge speculation that it might be a Storyteller, deck set, Storyteller Strike deck set. I think it's because the range between Chronon Jet and Messiah is not, the gap between those two decks is not that great. Not too far from each other. So because Shiran and Luwak comes out at the same time, right? So so this is an exception and not the rule, I would say. But generally, the pattern was that last time, if I still remember, so please correct me on this if I'm wrong, because I might get the timeline a little bit confused. But I think Chronologic came out around September or August or something along the late half of the year. Then Chronologic came out on the January or on the March of this year, if I'm not mistaken, speaking of Messiah. So the gap between those two decks are not too far from each other. So I would say that because Shiran and Luwak, since there are two strike decks releasing at the same time, it's November, and then next year January, the gap is a little bit too short, but there's still a gap of time that we might get a new Storyteller Strike deck set. That could happen, or they could technically pivot from each technically pivot from that particular principle, or like that from that trend per se, not principle, that's not the right word. Technically pivot away from that trend and say that this could be a new starter deck sets after the 5 new Grand Grace or Fist deck set, which actually that kind of like makes sense, because if you kind of like pump, if you want to like come to like pump players to keep on like buying strike deck sets, especially when you have Shiranu and Luwat, I don't think that would be like a huge financial strategy move. But I think who am I to judge? They might do that, they might not. But I have a feeling that it might be a slowly here strike deck set, or if I'm not, if it's not, if I'm wrong, then it could be the the start deck sets that we got for the previous ones. So that's also kind of good regardless. It's a new product, it's a new deck, so I'm kind of like looking forward to that. And now Booster 14, Booster 15, BBT 14 and BBT 15. 14th will be on next year February, and BBT 15 will be on next year April. So there's like a 2-month gap, which is kind of like okay-ish. Because I think it's already like kind of like the trend, I'll say, because like now booster sets have to be within the range of like 1 or 2 months, so that's technically to be expected. Yeah, I think that's all for the product release for the time being. Product schedules for the time being. After that, let's go for the English. Yeah, and then the English translation so far, like so it's technically like reiterating what I just said before. It's nothing out of the ordinary. It's just basically the same thing, right? So nothing much to be saying here. It's yeah. So that's that. After that, yeah, I think that's all that is very important for this time being. So last but not least, I want to found this really funny meme online after the Gandiva banlist. So technically speaking, Dragon Empire decks be like that Green Arrow meme. Like the guy, I don't remember the actor's name, but like he's like pointing, like standing in front of the grave, posing in front of the grave, so technically Dragon Empire decks be like Gandiva, but Gandiva is dead, so you have other chances for other Dragon Empire decks to be back into the spotlight, such as like Dragon Kaiser Vermilion, Baba Sakura, Jiva, and Jin, right? So my hopeful chance is that for this new meta scene, and especially like the new Virina, which will be coming out tomorrow, hopefully Stora Virina is not like a super copium deck, right? The super copium card, hopefully that can buff Jiva just a little bit better. I know the meme was that Jiva is actually a shit deck if nobody plays Jiva, and then like why bother playing Jiva, right? And as to quote my good friend Alex from my community, to quote him, the whole is less than the sum of its cards, because he explains that you have cards such as like good actual like good cross overdress cards like Mirror's Varina that can help you to CC, can help you counter charge, which is kind of nice. Brown Varina can buff and retire. Bao Varina can help you to drive check. And then Mirror's Varina has resist. I'm not sure if it's like yeah, I think it's Mirror's Varina. And then Garo Varina forces you to to guard. So, and these are technically all good cards for like in the context of like cross overdress. But if you look at the if you look at Jiva as a whole, the composition, it's really less than the sum of its parts, because of just for Virina to shine. But in that particular process, you kind of like negate. I think like you kind of like dish out a lot of like resources in order for you for that mechanic to work, especially when it comes to like cross overdress, which allows you to which needed you to have like one prayer dragon and one trickstar. So that's like an extra thing to cross overdress with, rather than like in the original overdress, which you can just directly overdress or trickstar and call it a day, right? So that's why it kind of like dishes out in the case of like crossover dress, in case of Jiva, you have to like fish out another prayer dragon extra card for you to make it work. So that's why they say Jiva is kind of their shit deck. Not a very nice deck to play with. In a sense, I would say I would agree because I play a little bit of like a Jiva itself. It's a fun deck. I mean, it's a little bit copium-ish. It's a fun deck, but I think most of the player base would agree with like my statement is that like, it's not a very meta deck to play with. It's just like a very meme deck. It's like very shitty. Doesn't really do much in a popular meta. Like who cares, right? So I'm hoping that Stora Varina would come out and have actually like good skills. Actually have like good skills. Excuse me. Possibly like people might speculate. I might speculate that Stora Varina might gain the ability of all of the crossover dress abilities, which is kind of nice. Something akin to like full blast, but maybe better. Hopefully the requirement is not as as very tedious as like Youthbook. So we'll have to see what is to come for the next for tomorrow. So I'm recording this on Monday night, so technically I still have time. So I am hopefully to look forward to more things to come actually. Alright, so that's it for the now. Just for the quick recap. That's about for tonight's video, and if you do enjoy my tonight's recap of coverage, please hit like, subscribe. Stay tuned for notifications, all new videos, and maybe I can do a little bit of like vlogging for like Bushiroad Expo, or I can like maybe just do a little bit of like deck profiles or like some of the deck fights when I got back to KL. So hopefully expect more new content in the near future. Alright, I'll have to stop here. My rants. Alright, see you guys when I see you guys. This has been Professor Ina 0957.